Hey guys, it's Randy. I'm Violet's Closet on Kidizen. One of the questions I tend to get a lot is how do I price my items? So that is going to be today's video. So I tend to look up items while I'm editing because it never fails me that I will start listing an item and write out the description and I'm just about to post it and then I realize I didn't look up price comps and then I gotta go back to the whole process of looking that up, and then sometimes the app shuts down, and sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it doesn't stay up. So then I gotta restart the whole process. So I would definitely try to remember to do it before you start listing. So price comps are basically you're comparing what everyone else has it listed for, and you can do this by using just a few different tools. So the first thing I tend to do is to actually find out the name of the item. Sometimes this doesn't apply to every item, like like an Under Armour shirt doesn't really need a name, but like Matilda Jane, I have this rainbow tunic thing, and everything has a specific name. And if you can find out the specific name, then you can look up price comps a whole lot better. So what I do is I usually put it through Google Photos, which is pretty good at finding items. So I'll show you the process on that, but you just put it through Google Photos and then it'll pull up a bunch of stuff that's on the internet. And usually a couple of those have the actual name in it. Another option is just to Google Matilda Jane rainbow tunic. And then a lot of times you can get it to pop up that way too. But Google Photos is really good. I highly recommend trying that first. Okay, so now you have the name of the item, or you just have Under Armour shirt. And you can look up on Kidizen. You can just do a search and see maybe what other people are listing it for. I would keep in mind that these items have not sold yet. So, maybe pricing similar or maybe a tidge lower sort of thing. Also, eBay has an option where you can put in the name of the item, so Matilda Jane, whatever the rainbow tunic is called, and then you can filter down on sold items, and then that'll show you the most recently sold items and the prices that they sold for. Another option is when you're doing that Google search, a lot of times like listings themselves from other marketplaces will pop up and you can kind of see. I searched for that rainbow tunic and there was the exact same listing listed on Kidizen and the exact same size and everything, and it's sold. So I know exactly sort of what it's sold for. Sometimes I factor in the price that I would pay for it, and as a buyer on Kidizen, and lots of buying, I sort of know what sort of prices I want to pay for stuff, and so that will factor in part of my pricing too. That doesn't apply to everyone though. Then also, like, how fast do you want to move the item? Are you okay with it sitting? Because if you have a higher price tag and are okay with it sitting, then go for it. You'll probably find your buyer. If it's priced lower, it'll move faster. So I guess you just factor that in. Do you want it to move faster? And then also, do you do offers or offer shop discounts at all? Because that can factor into pricing along with how much is shipping going to cost, So like big Bogs boots, those are for sure. It's nice that we have that 5-pound option because we know it's going to be a flat $9.50 to ship, but that's eating into almost $10 of the cost. So you just have to factor that stuff in. You can weigh the items prior. I think as you go, you tend to know what's going to probably be heavy and what's not, so then you can just factor that in when you're doing the shipping costs. You could also break out the shipping costs in the app, so you would do a listing price and then you would just choose the shipping, and then it'll list it as $7 plus $4.15 shipping or whatever. So you could do that too, and then you don't have to do math in your head. Okay, so the last thing I do is I've pretty much decided on my price and I start to list, and in the Kidizen app there's a suggested price at the bottom when you're listing, and I like to look at that and compare it to what I think I'm going to list it for, and I might tweak it on that. It just sort of depends on what I think. And I find it pretty close to what I think I want to list it for. Now there's always exceptions because there's like hard to find items and highly desired items and stuff like that, but I think it does a pretty good job at around what I think it's going to be. The suggested price does take into factor the last recently sold items in that same size, condition, brand. So just know that sometimes those can get a little off. So let's say someone did sell a hard to find item recently, you know, that was like usually double the price of what it, you know, the basic items go for. That will kind of affect that estimate. Otherwise, I mean, it doesn't, while you're listing, just take a peek and compare. All right, so now I want to show you just the process of what I do for price comps. Okay, here we go. All right, so the first thing you want to do is pull up your Google Photos app, and it'll pull up all your pictures. So here's the rainbow tunic I was talking about. You just tap on the picture. So I have no idea what the name for this is. And you'll see at the bottom there's a dot with like the partial square around it. So you want to tap that. And then you can see it brings up, here's a listing on Kidizen. Here's one on Poshmark with the actual photo in there. All right, so you can see it brings up a bunch of listings on the internet, and you can see it's Matilda Jane Wonderful Days Tunics. So now we have a name. You can even tap on these and look at them. So this one is a size 6. It was sold for $25, and then it was new without tag. And then there's one listed for $40, $30, $51 on eBay. So I tend to more look up the name on here, and then I'll just go straight to Google. Matilda Jane, wow, already forgot it. Wonderful Days Tunic. Oh, look, it popped up. So then you can see a bunch of listings here. And then also, if you go to eBay, you can type in Matilda Jane Wonderful Tunic right here. So these are the current listing prices right here. If you go to this filter and you go down to show more and tap on sold items, it'll give me the prices for recently sold items. So you can see they're kind of all over the board. So mine's a 8. So it's probably more along the lines of this one, but it's not new with tag. So I'm kind of thinking I would list it for, this one's flawed, so you can see that. So mine is not flawed, so I could list it for higher, and I would probably list it for about 30 is what I would think. All right, next. So then you could do that for another item. Let's do it for the running shoes. All right, Brooks Levitate 2 running shoes. So you could do the same thing with eBay. I should have probably typed a Levitate 2 in there. Wow, that's a lot of items. So if you have that many items, you probably need to filter down more. So let's do that. Or you could even type like pink. I don't even see the same color. You can start looking at these listings and see, you know, which ones are excellent use condition and how that compares. Like the ones I have, I would call them excellent use condition, and see about what they are being listed for. All right, so going back to here, you can see on the top there's all shopping images. So if you go to shopping, this is where all of the listings will pop up. So you can kind of see what it's being listed for, and then you could always tap on one and see if it's sold. All right, that is some basic price comps. All right, that's it. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that was helpful on just some basic pricing comps. And if you have any ideas for future videos, leave it in the comments below. Thanks. Bye.